so forth for the full name for the record.
Sure. Robert Harold Hahn Jr. I live at 277 Witchstone Drive, Warren Springs, 24313. We've been having some issues over these roads up here. The state has took these over approximately over 3 years ago. They promised us these roads would be started on 3 years ago, and we're having such a problem with them. The school buses run up there. We called the state several times. At times they'll come up there, but we got to call them like 5, 6 times before you can come up there and even do anything about them. And you know, it's the washed out and a bit of gravel. You can't get 2 vehicles up through there or nothing. This is getting a little uncalled for. Something needs to be done about it. You know, we pay good taxes on these roads. We're paying 63 cents on 100. And I've talked with Mr. Bear over here several times about it, and been up to the State Highway Department and talked with Mr. Russell. And Mr. Russell, I don't know if they just give me the runaround or what, you know, because, you know, when you get on this call center, you call Salem or Richmond or wherever it's at, and we're having such a hard time getting them up there, you know, and something needs to be done. So, you know, otherwise I'm going to have to see, you know, somebody out there will do something about it. And I hate to, you know, go through this situation, you know, bad through our hard attorney to do something, you know. And I think when all of us were together about 3 years ago, Mr. McDaniel, you said you hoped we would enjoy our roads, but, you know, it's uncalled for, you know. And especially when a school bus comes up through there and ruts in the road, and it's terrible that the state won't do nothing about it. And we're paying this good money out to do something. You know, something needs to be done.
Well, sir, let me remind you that actually local tax money is not done for these roads, but we're going to try to support you in every way we can. Mr. Bear?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mike, their road is one of the revenue sharing roads that they're on, and he is correct. It was approved 3 years ago, as you know, Hidden Valley and Mud Lick and the other ones that were done in front of it. VDOT did come out and start doing some tree trimming and some things late fall, early winter. It's my understanding from VDOT they're not starting construction on it until this year, but as you know, Mud Lick is now finished, and the next road on the list is that road. So they should be out there when the weather breaks to work on this road.
Corrected, you are paying taxes.
Oh, yes. You know, and these roads should have been started even before, just going on 4 years now. And
I don't think there's anything I can say to defend them.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, they've had that long a time. I went through the same situation with the road in my area at Mud Lick, and it took forever before we finally got it finished up this year. And I assume they are supposed to be coming up this way next, are they not? They
are. That is supposed to be the next road there. They have started their preliminary work on there. He is correct. The road is still in rough shape. They've only done minor work that they can do until they get in there and do their full grading work and put in there. And their biggest problem is there's a big hill going up there, and they've got to put in some erosion set of control measures and get the water draining off the road. But from my understanding with my conversations with VDOT, that is on their list to start when the weather breaks. They don't want to do heavy work on it in the winter.
Well, is there any chance that we can get some rock or something put in there? I mean, it's going to be under the system right now. At least get them some rock.
I will check with them again. Mr. Nunn and I have both contacted them, and usually after we contact them, we are able to get some rock up there.
Well, I think we had, I think we had rock on it maybe twice in 3 years. You know, that's terrible, man.
Yes.
You know, that's uncalled for. All these taxpayers paying all this money out and can't get nothing done about it, you know.
Well, I'm going to ask...
And I know what we're going to say, the budget.
I talked to VDOT about that, and I thought they were having some issue with where the water line was.
Well, they should have already done that.
Well, this should have been taken care of. It's going on 4 years by now. It's got a state route number in it.
Yes, sir.
Why does anybody know where the water line is?
Well, there's no water line coming off that hill.
Well, he talked about if they get into the water line, they'd be in a mess.
Who said that?
That's Terry Crawford.
Pardon?
Terry Crawford works for VDOT.
Terry Crawford. He's just a supervisor up there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I asked him about it when they was going to do the work on that. And he said, well, he's been down there and done a little bit, but he said he's afraid to do any,
Well, if that-
heavy work on it because he didn't know where the water line was.
Well, if that's the case, they should have thought about that before they took everybody's money, shouldn't they?
You know anything about it, Slade?
I just write an email to Matthew Cox.
Okay, good.
Well, I called Matthew Cox just Friday. He still hasn't returned my call.
But we do know that someplace in there that there is a, Mr. Riddle has a water line.
Yeah, Mr. Riddle, Charles Riddle, yeah.
That's what we do know.
But still,
But
you know,
they still have the responsibility to maintain the road in a passable
Exactly,
manner
yeah.
during this period of time.
I don't know, Mr. Nunn, do you know who Mr. Cox is that Mr. Dahl was talking
He
about?
called me one time, I talked with him.
What's his official title?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, I mean, but he's over.
He used to be resident
resident
engineer.
administrator. I think now he's the.
Yeah, I talked with Mr. Russell also, he's over the maintenance on the road.
Yeah, Mr. Russell's maintenance
Yeah,
supervisor in
yeah.
the county.
But,
But
you
there
know,
should be a reason that they
if
have.
we're paying these kind of taxes, something needs to be done about it. You know,
Well, at least maintenance until they start.
Yeah, I think Mr. Barrow looked into that. Mr. Barrow, if you don't mind, I think Mr. Nunn left his telephone number here. If you'll call him, I'll make sure that you get that and let them know what they said. I know they probably, they won't try to start doing it right now. They'll use the winter.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand that.
I can understand the winter, you know, what I'm saying, but what I'm saying, Mr. McDaniel, you know, 3 years back, you know, I think something needs to be, that's terrible, you know. You know, I pay real good taxes out there, everything.
Well, we all.
Not only my place, no.
In good faith, and I'm sorry it's falling apart.
Yeah, well, the first thing you hear out here is budget, budget this, budget that, you know, but, you know, it's getting uncalled for, you know. But, you know, I think some gravel needs to be on it, graded out some, because, Mr. Russell told me at one time that, 2 vehicles needed to pass, you know, like one up, one down. You'd be lucky to get one up through there. Up around that curve and up through there, up in that area. It's terrible. They come up there and saw a few pine trees down and saw a few limbs out and about it. You know, $500, you know, what's that? I'll pay that in taxes. You know?
We'll do what we can to at least get some gravel up there.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. McGann.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
Our next speaker is Mrs. Linda Myers, and she wants to talk about 3.
I have 3 items. I was wondering, Mr. Graham's here, if he could...
Ms. Myers' first name and everything.
Linda Meyer, Speedwell. I was wondering what, as of January 1st, what is the outstanding county debt approximately? Have you any idea? A ballpark figure?
I would prefer to. I can get you the number, the exact number. I can't tell you that.
All right, you don't know. I was wondering if we did receive the $650,000 grant from Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles that was requested by you on October 25th for Progress Park. Did that come in?
It's on the Commonwealth Transportation Board this month.
So you haven't gotten it as of yet? Okay. All right, and then the other issue. Since I received the explanation back in November on the merit raises from you, it has become an issue. I reviewed the online minutes of all the meetings from last year, my personal notes, and the 278 pages of department memos that were on the computer before the budget came out. And I found absolutely no reference to merit raises, only hazardous duty pay, which was presented here by the sheriff, which is justified. We have churches helping parishioners pay electric bills. The cost of everything is rising daily, and economies are not healthy and certainly not growing. The predictions for this year are not wonderful. 17 people in the government got 2.7 over the 3% raises. After the 11 and 18% debacle, our trust in the board waned. We accepted the 3% across the board raise. The addition of merit raises is unacceptable, and worse is the way they were slipped under the door. Instead of a bonus line or a fringe benefit line in the printed budget. So now is the time to correct this. Your neighbors, county residents, expect you to halt the addition of any raised pay as of the 1st of January. The recipients should go back to receiving the 3% as all other employees. There are no entitlements here. If steps were achieved because of the addition of merit raises, they should revert to previous levels. In the future, the public expects to see a separate budget line item headed merit, with a heading, merit pay, if this bright idea once again arises. Thank you.
Next is Mr. Tommy Duncan. Mr. Duncan would like to speak to us about recycling. How are you today, Tom?
Thank you, Mr. McDaniel, board members. My name is Tommy Duncan. My wife and I own a small farm in the Grayson Hill section of North Austinville in Witt County. And in that section, this first thing has to do with guardrails. And the gentleman talking about 4 years, and I'm talking about a 53-year problem. And over North Austinville, there is a culvert over Mill Creek at the junction of the Austinville Road 619 and Walk Furnace Road 631 that has no safety barriers of any kind. This situation, I know, has existed for over 53 years. The edge of this culvert is 6 feet from the edge of the pavement. Then it's 16 feet straight down to the creek, and it's approximately 47 foot long. We need guardrail or some kind of safety barrier at this location. Now, about 150 yards west of this location, there is a high bank with no guardrail protection. There have been 8 vehicles wrecked and went over through our fence. This includes 5 automobiles, a VDOT dump truck, and the Witt County trash truck operated by B&H Recycling. And the last thing went through it was a piece of cast iron pipe that DLB lost control and dropped through the fence. And we need to do something there. Anything, any influence on, I have talked to DDOT about this. Of course, I got the same story this gentleman here got, and y'all get. Now, with permission, I'd like to talk about recycling.
Yes, sir.
First thing of all is I would like to address the not customer-oriented and anti-recycling practices of the Witt County trash and recycling centers. First of all is tires. Nobody wants to fool with tires. Virgil don't, y'all don't, nobody wants to fool with tires, but every vehicle out there has got 5 of them, at least 5 of them. And it has been in the past that they couldn't exceed 17 inches. I understand that has been corrected, and a maximum of 4 per year, but if you've got a dually, you've got 6. And, of course, new vehicles today are produced with 15 to 23-inch tires. There should be some realistic adjustments to this policy. And the next thing is the location of the green boxes inside of the centers have recently been rearranged to further discourage recycling. The one for metal, scrap iron, appliances and so forth has been moved to the center. And when you back in to unload, you block the road and delay all the customers behind you. It used to be on the outer edge, and you could do both at the same time. This resulted in the large green box for plastic to be moved to the outer fence that is further away, and you have to walk through traffic and dust to dispose of these items. To even further discourage recycling, the container for newspapers is 57 inches high, with openings of 16 by 18 inches to stuff your paper through at 57 inches high. And this container is numbered WC number 1. And I think it is the only one shaped like that in the county. There's certainly not many of them. And it stays in Austinville for some unknown reason. It's very difficult to get papers in this box. And it would be fair that this container be transferred and used throughout the county, not just Austinville. And has there been any progress in securing a new location for Austinville so it can be paved and we can get out the dust and the mud in Austinville? The state park, I understand, is buying that property and gonna kick us out when that, takes place. Has there been any progress?
We talked and met with the state parks down there. We've actually got a commitment that we can stay there until there's money budgeted and it's bid out. And who knows when the state will ever have money to finalize that. But have we looked for a site based on those assumptions? No, we haven't.
Well, if you're waiting on the state park, you'll be waiting forever. I even have to get them cross ties to rebuild the bridges, run them off the railroad to rebuild the bridges, so but we need to move something on that, and because, the dust, and in the wintertime is mud, but that has, Mr. Dalton took care of some mud for us, and so far it's held up pretty good this winter. Of course, we haven't had any winter yet. And also, along the recycling, last week they put up a sign that if you left any tires there, you had to present your restoration card, and then they would punch a hole in it, your restoration card out of the vehicle, and they would punch a hole in it. That's so you couldn't go to Fort Chisholm the next day and put 4 over there. But, you know, that's bordering on, that's a little too much. If there's a lot of information on that registration card, you might want the people that works at the recycling center to know. But now, I've also understood that has been corrected, but as of last week, the sign was up. And,
I'm not even aware of that.
I was aware of it. There was a guy, people would complain to me about the same thing, and he told me the same thing you said, that they were gonna do it, but then they quit. I was gonna actually bring it up tonight and find out, I mean, how did that come about? Does anybody know?
Is there anything we could say to Mr. Moore to make him move the boxes back around, be more?
I was just gonna say, at the one I go to, up at the Apple House, it's exactly like you described it originally. I mean, the metal box is over the fence, the recycling is in the, in the center.
That's why 52 North is.
well, I know right now, in Austinville right now, the metal box is in the center. And when you pull around and back in to unload your scrap, you block it off where no one else can go through. And of course, the plastic thing is on beyond, you've got to walk through the track to get over to the plastic. And it's not encouraging. I thought the recycling system was supposed to encourage recycling in the county. But you know, we're backing up with it. And,
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'd ask that we speak with with Mr. Moore to see if, can't reconfigure that to make it more convenient for people.
Mr. Chairman, I even go through, when I go by like my tractor, I go over and take my bucket and mash it down in the box so he can wait 3 or 4 more days before he has to pull it. And, but they're not encouraging recycling, not like I.
And in metals, you think that's where the popular money is.
That's right.
Than anything in recycling now.
That is right. I appreciate your time.
Well, I appreciate you. And also, I'm gonna ask that we at least send, email off to VDOT concerning those guardrails. Let them know.
The lack of guardrails.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Lack of guardrails, that be done, and, we'll find out something from Mr. Moore, and then, I'll let either Solel or Mr. Byer one contact you on that, and see if we can't rectify that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's all the citizens that signed up. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Citizens time. Seeing none, and we'll close citizens time. Our next order of business is the minutes. These are the minutes of the December 27th meeting. And I have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, is there any additions or corrections that anyone sees? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Artie?
I do have something up.
I'm sorry.
Is this coming under, the fire department coming under this?
No.
Next, okay.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, the chair says aye. Minutes passed 7-0. Our next order of business is the payment of the invoices. I have a motion.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, now, Mr. Roberts?
We have an invoice in there for Burnt Springs truck. We took that truck out to Glade Springs and we paid $4,900 to get it fixed, and it didn't get fixed, so we had to wind up sending it to Roanoke when it cost $1,048 more a week. And I think the county should pay that instead of the fire department.
Wouldn't that come under our emergency fund?
With emergency fund, Mr. McDaniel stated, any items such as transmission, rear end, pump, et cetera, this is computer modules, there's $1,000 and some dollars there.
What page is that?
Page 21 of the agenda,
Page 21?
$1,048.73.
I see it, yes.
I don't feel like we should take that out of their allotment to pay that, because to me, that's a vital part of the truck. I know fuel's a vital part too, but put fuel in, you can't keep that thing quick.
What's this, I mean, what was it? I've heard y'all say computer part, but it's hard.
There's a sensor on it.
It's a sensor, you know where the nodule where you connect to it there, the fuel sensor? It actually was, I get this wrong, it's actually sensing either getting fuel or not, and it would cut off. And I guess the best way to describe it is a big mess.
Yeah, if they go out to fight a fire, that truck just going to quit in there, her yard. Dead weight. It had to be fixed. But I just don't feel like we should take it out of their allotment.
Well, let me ask you this, Corey, would you mind if we sent this to the small budget committee and decided how to do that? Or
That's fine with me.
Don't.
But when it comes back, I'm still gonna make a motion.
Well, I understand. But I think maybe we can resolve it, hopefully.
Okay, that's fine with me.
All right. Well, if it's permissible with the person that made the motion and the one that seconded, is it okay if we strike this now, or we go ahead and pay it and then decide where we're gonna take the pot? What would you suggest?
Well, I think you gotta pay it.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I think you need to pay it, and then we, the small budget, and Barron Springs won't know if they're getting it.